guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. It's from a guy. He is 31 years old and he lives over in Greece. He's a guy that's definitely focused on his purpose, self-improvement, as you're going to see as I get into the story. And he shares his story about how a few months ago, the very beginning of 2022, he met this young woman, 22 years old, very pretty, very feminine girl. They started dating, and as a lot of these stories go, in the beginning, everything was great. She was, again, feminine, sexy. The you-know-what was good. She would take care of him, cook for him, clean for him, all that, right? And then a certain event occurred where literally overnight, complete 180. 180 in her personality, 180 in how she treated him, that type of thing. Classic bait and switch. And I don't want to reveal too much, but let's just say there are lots of lessons in this story that dealing with gals, relationships, and all that. Very important teaching tools, such as the classic bait and switch, how some gals can present themselves in a certain way for a while. The guy thinks she's amazing, and then, boom, totally different person. Or another lesson is about manipulation tactics when the gals don't get what they want. How then they'll try different tactics to mess with the guy's head to get what they want. These things happen there. Another thing is also, guys, what happens when guys, they start dating a woman for whatever length of time, and they think she's amazing, they have a great time with her, blah, blah, and then red flags start happening, but because he had so much fun with her in the beginning, he saw her in a certain light, he let things slide. Figures, oh, it's all right, that's no big deal. And later on came to regret it. So a lot of very important things. And finally, how women are drawn to guys that are a challenge. Guys that don't rush into the relationships. Most guys do. They get a pretty girl that pays attention to them, and they're trying to commit to her or have her commit to him after the second or third date. When guys have a lot of options, they take their time. And gals treat guys much better. They have to chase and pursue and win them over versus the guys that are willing to pretty much lay down their lives for them after the first date. So anyhow, guys, let me get into this story. It's definitely a good one for a lot of lessons here. He says, he starts off, he says, hello, SSM. To begin with, I watch all your episodes and thank you for sharing all these stories online so that men see what they have to cope with nowadays. I'm a 31-year-old man living in Greece. I have my job, which I love doing. I work long hours, and I like it, and soon during this year, I'm starting my own business. I work out 4 to 5 days a week. I like to read psychology and motivational books. I hang out with my male friends regularly who have goals and ambitions. Younger or older, and I generally manage to turn my life around towards the best during the last 3 years, which I'm very proud of. For the last 10 years, I end all the relationships that damage my inner peace, and I never keep in touch with my exes. Of course, I made mistakes and bad decisions in my life that made me what I am today. Guys, that paragraph, that long paragraph sums up exactly what I'm trying to help you guys move towards. All that. This guy's on his purpose. He loves his job. He works long hours, but he loves his job. He's thinking about starting his own business, which is awesome. Not everybody's meant to start their own businesses, but he's trying to improve himself in terms of the job and financially in that area, so that's awesome. He works out regularly 4 to 5 days a week, which I encourage all you guys to do. He hangs out with his bros, has his inner circle, that's awesome. He educates himself reading motivational books, psychology books, things that he enjoys to help himself. This is awesome. This is exactly what I want you guys to be. You do these things, guys, you're moving up, right, on all levels. And also he says that he doesn't waste time with relationships that go sour. He doesn't keep in touch with them, not allowing any drama in his life to have inner peace. Right there. That's awesome, bro. I'm proud of you. That's what I want all you guys to do. Okay. He says, so the story goes like this. At the beginning of February 2022, I met this 22-year-old woman. She is very attractive and fun to be around girl with feminine and submissive energy. We hang out, and at the second date, she proposes that we go to her place. Once there, before anything happens, we agree that we are both having fun at the time being, so no strings attached. Okay, he's making it clear. I'm not jumping in any relationships. We're having fun, no pressure, no expectations, none of that. And he said that we agreed. Well, I'm sure this is more like this is his idea, and she agreed because she figured, I'm hot, I'm sexy, I'll have this guy wrapped around my finger in no time. Well, she is wrong. And he's a challenge. For the whole next month, I see her taking care of me every time she has the chance. She wakes up early every morning to cook me breakfast, lunch, dinner, always answering my texts in the following 5 minutes, while she reaches out often, the phone, and video calls. She took care of me while I was sick, offering herself to do anything to help. She always had the money to pay for her own food, etc. Although sometimes I offered to do that because I liked what I saw. She clearly was very affectionate. She had said no to nothing. Never disobeyed, always into crazy sex, as well as hanging out. We spent many hours together, and we were having the best time together. Okay, this sounds like a great situation. This sounds like the type of girl you want to hang out with. That would even make girlfriend material later on down the road, after a while, when when you're ready. Right? Good situation. Who could say no? But in my opinion, a little too good. Which I'm sure some of you guys are thinking. Because wait till you see when she doesn't get her way and what she wants. All the other girls that I dated at that point were also affectionate and really interested. But her taking such good care of me was something that I've missed for a long time. Well, also I want to point out, guys, that this guy was a challenge. Okay? I'm sure some of you guys that have some experience, have been around the block, have noticed that if you have a lot of options and you don't rush into things, the gals that really like you, they're going to work to get you. Okay? Whether that's their true personality or not, they're going to work to get you. It's a challenge, and the gals like challenge. However, there's a point when they're done being challenged and the true colors can come out. Meanwhile, at some point she asked me what will happen between us in the future. Aha! By the way, you always wanted that a gal is always the one bringing up the future and relationships. You guys shouldn't be asking for relationships for you relationship guys, because if she doesn't bring it up, she ain't ready. She's not that into you yet. So don't be bringing up relationships, you relationship guys. Just a little tip. What will happen to us in the future? And she wants to have an exclusive relationship. That's where all the good behavior was coming from. She was buttering him up because she wants an exclusive relationship. I explained to her that this relationship cannot happen. The reasons being, number one, it's too soon for me. Good. And we just agreed to have fun mutually. And two, she's probably not going to be in my city when she finishes the university. He says in parentheses, she wants to have a master's degree and has to choose between two cities, giving my city the least chances. And that I would not begin a long-distance relationship. Very smart, bro. You're not ready, so no sense of rushing into things. And number two, she may not be around. So what's the point of getting serious when she may not be around, and you sure as hell aren't doing a long-distance relationship? Any of you guys have done long-distance relationships know pretty much they don't work. And if they do work, you can never be sure what she's doing. 5 hours away or 500 miles away. You just don't know. And a lot of these things go bad. I've done them. They don't work. However, I did not dismiss the prospect that if those problems would go away, I could consider it due to her feminine, submissive behavior. I just wasn't sure yet. Okay, here's an example, guys. If you're not sure, don't commit to something. Doesn't make sense. The thing is, a lot of gals are used to guys that if they give them an ultimatum or say, well, it's not going to work, or I may have to move away, the guy will jump at the opportunity to keep her in his life by going against his instincts, like rushing into a relationship when he's not ready, or agreeing to a long-distance relationship just not to lose her, and that's when he actually does lose her. From the interaction I had with some of her friends, I saw that all of them had issues with their exes and were monkey branching between Chad and Tyrone. Aha, her friends. If her friends are doing these types of things that aren't exactly very healthy, that could be you, because girls tend to do what their friends do, and they have an influence on them. There was no conversation between them that had something meaningful to be mentioned except holidays, past traumatic relationships, and imminent parties. 1 month later, and then all of a sudden, she had a 180-degree change of behavior. Isn't that interesting? You all heard how she was in the beginning, like the dream girlfriend or dream girl you hang out with, and all of a sudden she wants a relationship. This guy pretty much said, no, not happening. And he gets a complete 180. How can someone do a complete 180 unless maybe they were faking it? And now we're having a manipulation tactic. Oh, I'll try a different thing. I'll do a complete 180, so maybe you'll come crawling back to me and give me what I want so you can get the royalty treatment like you got before. Manipulation tactic. She visits the beauty salon and immediately plans to go to her hometown to see her family. Coincidentally, no such thing. Coincidentally, her ex, with whom she had a relationship for 3 years, lives in her hometown, with whom she said she had no communication. Yeah, sure. But was keeping pictures of him in her cell phone. She showed me pictures the other day of herself, and one of her ex popped out, and she shut the screen off. Literally, the dude had man boobs, kind of a healthy image, provider type of guy. That wasn't an accident that you saw him. That was on purpose. More manipulation. She denies sex, seems troubled, explained there's a lot of stuff going on in her life, like what she's going to do after college, that she doesn't like her body, that she feels pressured, and at some point she said specifically, I am self-destructive. There's a major red flag. If a gal or anybody honestly tells you that they're self-destructive or things along that line, that's a big sign to walk away, especially a girl. So what do we have here? In the beginning, affectionate, loving, the sex all the time, blah, blah, blah. Now, complete 180, no sex. Suddenly she doesn't like her body, the same girl that was throwing herself at him before, and all these other things. Okay, sure. 180. Manipulation tactics. She's got issues. This guy was getting the royalty treatment, but now he's got the bait and switch. I don't want to hear I suddenly don't like my body, or I'm so stressed out about my future that I can't have sex when it was the sex all the time just a month earlier. Bullshit. I told her that this behavior would not keep me around anymore. I do not like mind games and drama, and I refused to sleep with her that night, taking back some of the accessories I gave her for S-word reasons. And she lost her mind. Good for you, bro, not putting up with this mind game shit, because that's exactly what's going on. A lot of guys would fall for this. He says in parentheses, I had told her that I sleep with other women every time she asked me. The next day, she leaves for her hometown, and then she becomes very busy, very cold and vague. During these days, I never reached out to her. She did. However, she was distant and clearly not affectionate. Remember, this is the same girl in the beginning that was reaching out to him all the time by text, who's responding to his messages like that within a few minutes. Now, she's very cold. Night and day difference. During these days, I never reached out to her. She did. At the same time, I had some friends visit me in my hometown I hadn't seen for a long time, so I was kind of joyful. I had no reason to ruin my mood, although it made me very weary. After I had stopped communication for a day, she called, saying that her brother had an accident with a car, and that's why she didn't reach out to me. Sure. However, having her brother injured arriving at their house, she immediately left to return to our city and informed me that she wanted to see me the next morning. I told her to meet right up after she arrived. I didn't want to lose any more time. We met briefly, and she continued to be cold and unaffectionate, telling me that she thought about where she would continue her studies and that this situation, initially having a good time together, maybe is a bad idea. I said nothing, smirked, and walked away. Saying nothing, listening to her insults from afar. Good for you, man. Walk away, it's over. You don't need that stuff. And yeah, like you said in the beginning, the mind games, the drama. You don't need this shit. She's a completely different person now. All after she brought up the whole relationship thing. You weren't ready. It didn't mean you were saying never, just you weren't ready then. She didn't get her way, so now she did a complete 180, different tactics. And of course, the red flags of I'm self-destructive and all this other stuff. Bro, you don't need this shit. And to you guys watching this, you don't need this shit in your lives. He says, the only thing I regret is not leaving earlier, when she mentioned all those problems of herself. They were clear red flags, which I ignored due to her impressive initial behavior and me really having a good time with her. What I say in the beginning, how a lot of guys, in the beginning, she puts on the royalty treatment. She's having a great time with the guys. The sex is great. Everything's cool. Everything's fun. And then she starts showing red flags, but guys will ignore those red flags because of how great she presented herself in the beginning. This isn't an accident. You got to pay attention to that, guys. That's where a lot in these stories I go over, guys, the personal stories, whatever, things go wrong when they let these things slide because it's such a good time early on. You can't do that. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of problems down the road. He says, and that's the end of my short story. I really think that once a girl starts playing games like that, or she has a particular change of heart, it's time to leave. Exactly. No drama, no results if you try to reason with them. No point of arguing, nothing changes. No need to find out what really happened. All you hear is BS. They don't even listen to you. Having dated a bunch of girls, I really believe that women can't really figure out what they want, and they base their decisions solely on emotions, thus making terrible decisions that damage them over time. Yeah, that's very true. You know, I'm not saying that guys don't make decisions on emotions. Trust me, they do, but women tend to let a lot of the emotions do their thinking a lot of the times. You know, it doesn't end well. I do not feel sorry for them. It's just that sometimes finding the care you like as a man makes you weak because you really miss it nowadays. It's a hard pill to swallow, but facts are facts. SSM, stay strong and keep up the good work like a man. Bro, that was a great story, and I'm glad you walked away. But, you know, like I said in the beginning, a lot of guys wouldn't have done that. A lot of guys, A, would have rushed into the relationship with her in the beginning, or B, the second she brought that up and started pulling, did the 180, and all of a sudden just been completely opposite, they would start chasing after her. They would start chasing after her, saying, what's wrong? What's wrong? What'd I do? And then they would give her the relationship. They'd give her the long-distance relationship in an attempt to get back that great behavior and treatment they got in the beginning. And what would usually happen is that she would then treat them worse because they stopped being the type of guy that she was into. So some of these situations, guys, you have to expect, for you relationship guys, that if you're going to behave like this guy, not rushing into a relationship, not rushing to commit, things like that, some are going to just walk away. And you have to be prepared for that and not care. Okay? It is what it is. Others will then, if they really like you and are mostly normal, will then wait for you to when you're ready. But in this case here, she didn't get what she wanted, so boom, 180, try the manipulation tactic. That didn't work, and finally, it's over with. I would not be surprised at all if this guy heard from her down the road. But this is obviously what she's like. He described her friends kind of like her in this way, so again, back to the whole friend thing. But anyhow, guys, I'll be going to go over a good teaching tool with a real-life example, some of these tactics that can happen for you relationship guys. And again, back to what I said in the beginning, how I read about him in the first paragraph, this dude's on his purpose. He's doing exactly what I want all you guys to do. Like I said in the beginning, self-improvement. He's reading books to educate himself, become better, working out all the time at the gym. And you don't always have to go to the gym. You can just go for a freaking jog or ride your bike. I don't care. Something to remain physically active, hanging out with his bros, he's really working hard at his job, thinking about starting a business, self-improvement, on his purpose, on his grind. That's what all you guys doing. And notice how good he's feeling about himself. I tell you all the time in previous video, guys, if you are working hard to better yourself, to make you the best you can be, because not everybody can be a billionaire, not everybody can have a yacht or a private jet, but making yourself, working to be the best you can be, you're going to have this mindset that just as a take it or leave it attitude, you're going to feel good about yourself, and you're not going to become susceptible to pressures and BS that a lot of guys would, like this. You know, he wasn't in a rush to get into a relationship with her, and when the second bullshit started, he was done. Right? But guys that don't have a high self-esteem, a lot of guys don't think very highly of themselves, will put up with a lot of crap. So that's why self-improvement is so important on so many levels. Okay? And for you guys that have experienced this, have been working on yourselves, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyhow, that is it for today, guys. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know, guys, in the comments section. Have you experienced a situation where you were taking your time with a girl, and then she wanted a relationship, and just like this, she didn't get it, so she did a complete 180. I'd like to hear about that. And I'd also like to hear, guys, if you are working on improving yourselves, how that's had a positive ripple effect in your life, where you're feeling good about yourself and simply people treat you better, or you simply can cut people off and not care because you're feeling good. I'd like to hear about that too, because a lot of guys here are for different reasons, but mentioning the self-improvement part, that will definitely help out as well. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.